Hey there, my gorgeous friends. Happy Friday to you. Happy Frugal Friday to you. I hope that you are doing great. It's so nice to see you again and to be here with you. Thank you for being here, by the way. Today I wanted to share with you some underrated eyeshadow palettes from the drugstore that I feel like don't get enough attention. These are ones that are really amazing and they need a little bit more spotlight on them. And they're really affordable too, which is what I personally really love about them. So the first palette I want to share with you is from the No7 line. This is one I've talked about several times in the past and I still use it. I used it today. So if you're curious about what's on my eyes today, I did use a little bit of this palette and then I'll talk about the other palette that I used in conjunction with it. But this palette is from No7. It's the Emerald Stones palette. This is part of their Stay Perfect line. There are 3 eyeshadows in here. Very simplistic, easy, great little compact palette. They do have other colors. They have cool nudes and warm nudes also. So if you're looking for a little bit of a more neutral palette, they do have those available. And I just love it from a quality perspective and from how easy it is to just pop in your bag and go. And the color is fantastic. The color payoff is incredible. It's been one of my favorite palettes for a few years now and I absolutely love it. I do have a tutorial for this look somewhere on the channel. I'll try to have it listed and linked for you below in the description box if you're interested in recreating it. I did not use this palette exclusively today though. That is the difference in the tutorial that I'll be linking below. What I did was I mixed it in with this Maybelline palette and this one is in the shade Forest Green. And these also I want to mention because these don't get talked about, but they're really amazing. The Maybelline eyeshadow palettes look like this. The color payoff is incredible. I mean, I absolutely love those too. So together when I wear a green eyeshadow look, this is usually what I am wearing, but I do love to wear this all by itself too. So definitely one to check out. And I want to say that they are $10 for those old No7 palettes. So a great quality palette. From Essence, I talked about these a while back when they first came out and I still love these. The Essence eyeshadow palettes that came out last year, these are just amazing. There are 6 eyeshadows in each of these little palettes. The color payoff is incredible. There are a mixture of mattes and shimmers in all of the palettes. And the price, let's not forget to mention the price. I think it's $4 for one of these palettes. And Essence is one of those brands where it can be a hit and a miss, like you never really know what you're going to get, but I was really happy to find out that the quality with all of these was consistent, which was really nice to see. And they are still some of my favorite palettes that I use today. My most favorite out of the entire lineup there is the one called I Like to Mauve It because it has those cool toned purples and it's such a beautiful palette. Oh, for so many different complexions, it's amazing. From Almay, this is another brand. Like Almay used to be my go-to favorite. Long before I ever got on YouTube, I was using Almay and I used those 3. It had 3 pans of eyeshadow and it was made for every single color like blue, green, hazel, brown. That was what I used exclusively before I ever got on YouTube and I loved them. And then at some point they discontinued them. And I don't know about you, but I feel like Almay has just gone downhill and I don't know why, but the quality just hasn't been there. And so I really don't even look to that brand that often for makeup. I usually just pass by them in the store, but they redid, they redid those palettes that I had just mentioned and they did them a little bit differently and it caught my eye in a CVS store that I was in, this was over a year ago. And so I tried it out and these were the Intense Eye Color palettes. The one that I'm showing you here is for hazel eyes. And I never stick to my eye color with any of these. I really don't. Because I feel like they're so easy to transition from one eye color to the next. And the color payoff was just as good as what I remember in the older palettes that they had. So I was really happy to see that the quality had not changed. I feel like it actually may have gotten a little bit better. But it's one of my favorite palettes. I love this. And it's one that I use when I'm looking for a green eyeshadow look like the one I'm wearing today. And I love greens. I love them. From Profusion Cosmetics, this is one of those other brands that I feel like is gaining more momentum in social media, but it's still one of those like undiscovered brands that you wouldn't know how good they were unless you tried them. And you can find them usually in Walmart stores. I feel like you can shop online for them also. But this palette is still one of my favorites. This is the Bare palette, and it's such an easy neutral palette. There are a mixture of mattes and shimmers in here. Really easy to apply, excellent pigmentation. This is a cruelty-free brand for those who are interested, and affordable quality nonetheless. Still one of my all-time favorites. I love it. The last two that I want to share with you, I'll share with you simultaneously because they are from the same brand. Hard Candy. This is another brand that I stayed away from for a while because the quality was just like, ooh, what? It was horrible. But they redid their eyeshadow palettes, and the ones that they've been coming out with most recently have been phenomenal. Really, really good. And I don't feel like they get enough recognition because they really are amazing quality. The first one I want to share with you is the one called Blushful Nudes. This is a dupe for one of the Huda Beauty palettes, and I did do a comparison between this one and the Huda palette somewhere here on the channel. I'll try to have that video linked for you below. But again, excellent color payoff, and I felt like I liked this palette better than the Huda Beauty palette. Frankly, I did. And it's $10. I mean, it's $10. Yes. The other one I want to share with you is the one called Lap of Luxury. And this is a cooler toned neutral palette. Not one that I've seen talked about at all, but deserves a lot of recognition because, again, the color payoff is really spectacular, but also the color range. I know one of the things that I've seen most in eyeshadow palettes especially is a lot of warm toned shades, but not enough cool toned palettes. And I feel like that's starting to change, and we're beginning to see more cool tones introduced into palettes like this. And so this palette in particular has a lot of those really amazing cool tones, and you can create so many beautiful looks with this palette. It's really, yeah, deserves a lot of kudos because it's that good. And this one I think is about $6 if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but again, another affordable palette that you'd never know that it was that inexpensive. I also want to mention the e.l.f. Bite Size palette in a particular shade. I Love You a Latte. This is my favorite. I love this little palette. And I mean, the e.l.f. Bite Size palettes, I feel like are a hit and a miss. Sometimes you get really good ones and then others are like, ugh, why? But this one is really, really good, and it's become my go-to favorite on an everyday basis. This shade in particular is the one that I have been wearing a lot. I've been putting this just all over my eyes, and I get a lot of compliments on that one constantly, like, what are you wearing? And it's a cool toned neutral that works really well for my complexion, and so that's been my go-to palette very recently, and one that I've just been loving. I love it, love it, love it. So now it's your turn. Let me know which palettes you feel like don't get enough recognition in the drugstore. I would love to hear your opinions on this topic because this could be such a long video. I was trying to keep it more condensed. But there's so many good ones that don't get accolades like they should, and they're just really so spectacular. So thank you for being here again. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I want to wish you a beautifully blessed weekend ahead. My Gia, my little girl, she's turning 4 on the 27th this month, but we're having her birthday party on Saturday. So it's our first kids' birthday party. We've never done this before. So I've invited her friends from preschool to come and celebrate with her. So she is so excited, and we booked a little indoor playground for her. So she's just so excited. So that is what we are doing this weekend. And I hope that you have a relaxed, beautiful, happy, positive, joyful weekend. I just speak joy into you. I speak love and life into you. And I thank you for being here and for your support, and look forward to seeing you again very soon.